Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.
So it is a small topic, and already motivation we have done. So on the basis of that, either you will feel confused or you will have better understanding that how it is different from motivation. Infrequently questions are asked means very rare. If you see morale and section of that, how questions have been asked. So very few questions have been asked. So let's write on that. Like motivation, morale is also an important motivational variable. In fact, both are used together Both are often referred together.
Sir, can you please repeat it because we didn't hear anything? Video got off. Can you repeat, sir?
Like motivation, morale is also an important motivational variable. In fact, both motivation and morale are used together and also interchangeably. The concept of morale is or recent development in the field of organization theory and administrative behavior. It has a strong link with productivity of organization and satisfaction of people. It is considered as an important factor in motivation of people in any organization. And has remained very significant in the field of military and industrial psychology. In the field of civil services, it is also referred to evaluate causes of low morale, and to take steps to enhance morale of civil servants. Morale of civil servants. It's defining morale. It is physiological and psychological process. Which indicates attitude, feelings, views, values of a person or a group of persons towards any object. In more specific sense, it is about what attitude people carry towards their work? What attitude people carry towards their work? Do they have positive view about their work or negative view about their work? It is more inclined towards group behavior. It is more inclined towards group behavior. Hence, Alexander Layton has defined it is about pulling and pushing together. It is about pulling and pushing together. In general, it is also defined as the level of group efforts, enthusiasm, energeticness shown by people in organization. Therefore, it is also defined in terms of its characteristics. That positive characteristics show presence of high morale and negative characteristics show presence of low morale. The characteristics are as follows. So it is more defined on the basis of characteristics, or you can understand morale more in terms of characteristics, that any organization which has people with high morale, so that will experience this kind of characteristics. An organization has people with low morale will experience this kind of characteristics. So it means let's understand other way around. So any person who joins IAS or any employee, public employee, so he can be highly enthusiastic. If you see in terms of employee, if you see there is one movie in which that police person is highly motivated.
Singham and Shatrughan.
No, that example we have given. I want to give a different example. Yes, in Wanted, I guess, in Wanted movie, one constable comes to inspector, very motivated. He had just joined police. He asks, why you have joined? He says blah blah things. Right. Then he puts something on his head and says that shoot it.
Yes, I wanted.
Right. So that is enthusiasm of a person. Okay, once a person means, let's say, joins, at that stage the person is highly enthusiastic. So this way you can say, so why enthusiastic? Why the person is highly enthusiastic?
Because he is not seeing the system yet.
So his thinking, his knowledge, his view, his feelings related to public service. So when people appear in interviews, so first they start appearing in mocks. Initially they talk, if it is asked why you want to become IAS, so they say that I want to serve people. Very highly motivated, they answer this. Then when supplement question is asked, if you have to serve to people, you can serve by becoming also member of civil society. Why you want to become IAS? Question remains. No. Like, so some people have answered. A good leader is one who says, "Ki, we have done it," but still a statement remains unanswered. Anyhow, some copies I checked yesterday. Some I will check today, so tomorrow we'll discuss probably. What so you have, let's say, knowledge about something. Knowledge about that. Someone told that public administration can be finished in 3 months. Highly enthusiastic. Right. Then when you come to know oh, 5 months, right? So then you have to see whether the attitude, right? Which type of attitude is there now. So this is what enthusiasm like. So people can have their knowledge, their views, etc. Whatever, means it is called attitude in our organization theory language. So they have formed a particular attitude towards let's IAS. They see IAS like something. Their perception, that is how I say, their perception, their views, values, thinking. Then gradually they come to know about their brethren and other sister and whatever, sorry to say that, but this is how you'll find out. They will care, let's say that they will come to know that कि यहाँ तो कोई सर्विस के लिए बात ही नहीं करता है, सब अपने लिए बात करते हैं. No, they are working so that कि salary should keep coming. This is the statement of one our IPS officer posted in Meerut. Anyhow, so they are working to save their salary and save their job. So the question is that gradually, let's say that you know about organization, you know about your superior, you know about others, right? I have seen from very inside also paramilitary forces. कि how they are highly demoralized from internally. Externally you will find कि they show they have high level of morality, but say high level of morale, not morality, sorry, both are two different things. So they have, let's say that why it has happened. And then there can be also example that the organizations, there can be organizations where people have high level of morale, they enjoy their work, they work as team, there is no, let's say that hustle and tussle in the organization. It seems to be like one family, so like ISRO, so you'll find less pathetic environment. So that can be also, means there can be also organization like that. So this is what, let's say that it is formed over a period of time. It is not that just momentary. This is what indirectly we are trying to differentiate between motivation and morale. So it is something, the attitude which is formed. How? What attitude is formed? Best example we give, and it is given, that's why we refer it in organization theory. To check the India, let's say that girls, so when the girls come for their selection, so what they are saying, see their attitude. What the attitude they have? So their attitude is more based on individual. No. And they do not have attitude to work as a team. They do not have, they lack attitude to work as a team. This is what you should know. This. So individually, let's say they are thinking, whatever the thinking they have, their attitude towards object like hockey, right, and as a team, so it is not positive, not as per the concept of morale. Now, when let's say that the coach forces them to play together and harsh training, so what happens? Irritation, dissatisfaction, discontentment. That is how. So that happens. So basically you can say like this is the before situation, that is the training, and this is after situation. So training is dissonance, tension they went through, then they develop good morale after beating boys in McDonald's. Right. So that is manifestation that as a team they can do much better, where they realize not by playing hockey but by beating, let's say, people. This. So that is what you can say manifestation of morale, let's say that. It is considered a positive belief and team orientation, ability to work as a part of team, in team, because not all people have that kind of attitude. Right? That's why it is pulling and pushing together. So it's about not individual only, let's say. The morale is more group, let's say, concept it is considered. It is inclined towards more group behavior rather than an individual behavior. Although yes, it is related to individuals' attitude, what they feel, think about their work. So we develop over a period of time our attitude towards work, and that determines. So let's, any person likes Mr. A, he may develop attitude over a period of time towards an object, and that attitude will determine his self-esteem. Self-esteem. Now let's say you can find that many people may have developed attitudes toward objects like their life. So they may have developed a negative view about their life. अब तो कुछ होने वाला नहीं है. Life ऐसा हो गया, वैसा हो गया, isn't it? Do you have people like that in your surroundings? So those who have developed negative type of things, they will not have self-esteem. Right? चाहे उसको जो आप let's say that you give him whatever he wants, let's say that good breakfast, good lunch, etc., good environment, how you will change that attitude? By changing thinking. So you have to change his thinking. Right? So that demands different level of intervention. So that is called psychological counseling or many other things. But that's not the point. Point is that self-esteem, how it is, day-to-day life, how you maintain day-to-day life motivation. So self-esteem. And if you have positive view about life, then you will have self-esteem. You will be motivated, you don't have to be motivated, can we say? So, this way. So, that is what let's say one day I told in past that if you want to test someone that his type of attitude the person has. So, if you ask questions that which job you do, और कई बार होता है घर में पूछो आप कि आप क्या कर रहे हो, तो उसी से पता चल जाएगा whether person is feeling irritated or he is दिख नहीं रहा है क्या कर रहा हो. Right. So the person who will say in that way, समझ लो कि वो लो मोरल है, irritated है. और मान लो कोई let's say someone will reply by having a smile on face, or simply may have a smile, no reply. So this way, that is what let's say that the person has a positive view about that work. Right. And you can test it to anyone, provided कि yes, be safe. So you can ask to anyone like this. Suppose you are highly enthusiastic and go and meet a district magistrate. I want to prepare for civil service. बोलेगा इतनी इसमें बड़ी बात क्या है? Right. If he has developed positive attitude, he will take interest in guiding you, and he'll enjoy sharing his memory. But if he has developed negative attitude, so he will not take interest in guiding. This. So that is what let's say that you can say. So I guess by these individual examples you understand. Then we'll take about organizational example.
Is at mental state.
Yes, morale is more a mental state. That is attitude. The attitude is related to your mind, your thinking.
Because the meaning of morale in Hindi is noble, so that is true.
Right. That way I will not tell, but I will tell that ki morale is related to when we are saying thinking, attitude, perception. It is related to human mind in psychological aspect. Means it is learned. Morale you form, you learn it, you develop that self-esteem. One is not born with that. Because attitude is formed, attitude is not inborn. Whatever the attitude you have learned in this society through socialization. So attitude is acquired. So therefore morale is also improved. Morale is also learned, acquired.
Okay.
No. The concept. Let's write on this. The concept of morale is about the view that when in organization people have high morale, like self-esteem, like self-esteem. It has very positive effects. It has very positive effects on behavior of people in terms of cooperativeness, teamwork, focus and concentration, and organization experiences a positive work culture. It is considered as an essential. It is considered as an essential ingredient in organization for bringing innovations and higher productivity. Since works cannot be executed without team efforts, and hence the field of industrial psychology has focused on establishing link between morale and productivity. Before its emergence in field of industrial psychology, it was more applied in field of military for motivating soldiers, and in field of sports for motivating sports persons, as both demand team oriented efforts. There is a popular statement by Sun Tzu: war is fought in mind, not in field or battle. Art of war. So, even a small military with high morale can defeat a big military. Right. Low morale. So, Why it is? So in military it is highly, let's say, referred, because if soldiers have low morale, they are suffering from that. So they cannot fight well. Similarly, if sports persons are suffering from low morale, they cannot work as a team. That low morale causes can be different factors. And one, you can see the factor we say in Chak De India, that their attitude towards that, I am like this and I play only with this. This type of attitude, which is more individual centric. So, although they are not having any bad attitude, but it is more individual centric, rigid. They have the rigid attitude. It means morale demands flexible attitude. So anyone can play any role. Are we ready to play any role? So that is how. So how you will play any role? Your attitude. So some people are again very rigid. No, I will not play this role. So how there will be not any team efforts and etc. Because some people, no, I will not work like that. This way. If organization say tomorrow you have to come 8 o'clock, then no, I will not come. So this kind of, let's say, that thinking will find that. So that is a very popular saying, war is fought in mind, not in field or battle, let's say. Like what you are doing, in your mind you are fighting war against UPSC every day. No. Every day you are fighting. So this thinking. So every day you are fighting, and this is what you feel that yes, you can fight better, so you go and appear in UPSC, be it prelims, mains or interview. So you go motivated. And if you feel ki no, so you go demotivated. Already whether you have won or lost, let's say that, already it is decided. No. So whether soldiers, they go in the field to fight, they go for that battle. So whether they have already thought that they have lost or they are going to win. So this is what it is talking, let's say, morale as a mental construct or a concept. And they think that yes, for team effort. So from the very beginning, let's say, it is very difficult to let's say that relate since when it is, but let's say Sun Tzu and its very old classic work, Art of War, or ancient time you can see, and thereafter. So the concept of morale term may not be there, so we do not know the exact origin, but yes, it was in practice. Only, let's say that in industrial psychology, now we have been emphasizing on morale. So this is what we can say about the concept. Right? Let's write on this, morale and productivity link. So you should know that they had shown symptoms of low morale, and when experiments happened, democratic environment created. So what they did, they went on creating democratic environment. Then democratic environment, social man, this recognition, reward, informal organizational sector. They improved the morale. This what happened? Such factors changed to good self-esteem. Morale. And productivity increased. It is the best. So other experiments are best examples of productivity and morale link. Productivity and morale link.
So can we say although morale and motivation are different things, but they are dependent on same set of factors?
Not necessarily. In general, we can say that, but we'll talk different differences. So there we'll talk. So you should know that it takes time to change the attitude. So it is not done in one day. So almost 3 years. Then another, let's say 27 to 28, 1 year. So motivation we are trying to address on what basis? Momentary basis. But morale cannot be addressed in that way. It takes time. So that is how you will find that. It takes time, like, okay, the experiments were done. Final experiments will find that 32. So you can see the number of years the experiment means other experiments. So, but we will still not go to motivation and morale. Just we are trying to establish link. So it is the best example for establishing a strong link between increase in morale and productivity, or a good morale. Means when people have good morale, so there can be good productivity, higher productivity. Thereafter, you can refer to other thinkers also, but they have not explicitly told. But when we'll say Chris Argyris, so whatever the contributions he has given, including sensitive training, or that individual at sectors Douglas MacGregor, Theory X and Y, or this management system 1-4, then Maslow, but Maslow will not bring two-factor theory, because already we have here Maslow's so aspect, motivating factors, job enrichment. Later on we'll talk them how these factors should be incorporated to enhance motivation and morale. But they have emphasized on these things, so in a way indirectly, let's say indirectly, they are trying to address morale and productivity. Why? So they are the positive characteristics. If we name it, let's say that A, we name it as B. What all of them are doing, from human relation theory to neo-human relationist, what they are doing? They are trying to bring A, address B, isn't it? So in that way we can say, so they are trying to bring the positive symptoms, they are trying to address the negative symptoms. So that way we can link and we can say that so they are trying to bring A, means all of them. So nothing but they are trying to bring A to address B. Tackle B. Let's try that. It means if organizations are able to bring positive symptoms and minimize negative symptoms of morale, they would build a conducive environment for establishing a strong link between morale and productivity. Already this link was established. Already this link was established by Hawthorne experiments. Hawthorne experiments, when they proved their most important hypothesis, style of supervision, morale and productivity. Hence, it seems that there is a direct link between morale and productivity. However, in the field of industrial psychology, research and studies conducted to test the link between morale and productivity show that there is a complex relationships between them, and the studies have explained four types of relationship between morale and productivity. Which are as follows. So it is quite possible, isn't it, mathematically? So, first, low morale, low productivity. Let's try that. In this case, people in organization have low morale. due to organizational factors which can be related to resources and means lack of resources, lack of clear task structure, roles and goals clarity, and at the same time leadership is also very weak, ineffective. Hence low morale, low productivity. Next, high morale, low productivity. It means organizational factors are good. That task structure is clear. Resources are available, including technology, etc. But there is ineffective leadership, that management is not able to benefit from high morale of people, due to presence of weak leader or ad hoc type of leadership. Next, low morale, high productivity. That even if organizational factors like task structure, technology, resources are weak and people have low morale, but due to directive style of leadership, people are forced to work. Hence, high productivity. This is scenario of classical approach. Next, high morale, high productivity. It indicates good organizational factors and effective leader. This equation represents characteristics of human relation behavioral theories. And it is generally considered an ideal relation between high morale and high productivity. Between morale and productivity. Therefore, high morale may not necessarily result into high productivity. High morale may not generally result into high productivity. Other factors are also responsible. Other factors are also responsible. But it is also true that high morale brings in a conducive environment for higher productivity. And therefore, in general, morale and productivity have a strong relationship. So that is what we can say by this explanation. Many a time that due to weak leader, even if organization has people with high motivation, but due to leadership, the organization faces problem. Like Congress Party and Rahul Gandhi. Weak leadership. So there are many motivated individuals, young leaders, what they are doing? Just simply they are quitting. So this is let's say they're just opposite to this. So there is no problem in this. High morale, low productivity indicates poor style of leadership or ineffective leadership. So let's write now morale and civil services or causes of low morale. Causes of low morale. Generally, in organizations, the factors like first, strict control and supervision. Next, ineffective communication. Next, lack of challenging tasks. Lack of challenges in tasks, goals. Next, lack of role and goal clarity. Next, lack of opportunity for growth, advancement. Next, absence of effective grievance redressal mechanism. Next, not proper execution of reward and punishment. Change of paragraph. Such factors can create low morale in people. For instance, in civil services, some important factors responsible for creating low morale are first, frequent posting and transfer. frequent posting and transfer, lack of autonomy at work, coercion, subservience, subordination, formal work culture, lack of recognition of merit, performance, next is corruption. Next is corruption. That civil servants or public employees, over a period of time develop low morale and motivation. According to studies conducted in the field of moral motivation, which went on comparing managers and bureaucrats, it was found as per Nicholas Henry explanation, that managers were more motivated than bureaucrats. Because of differences in their environment in which they work. And that's why public employees or bureaucracy have negative characteristics or negative symptoms like frustration, indifference, complacency, apatheticness, lack of association, and poor self-esteem. Therefore, such problems of low morale can be addressed by incorporation of characteristics of human relations behavioral theories. Like first, democratic environment and style of leadership. democratic environment and style of leadership. Next, integration of individual goals with organizational goals. Next, sensitive training. Next, job enrichment. Next, system of effective communication. System of effective communication. Next, setting challenging tasks. Challenging tasks, goals. Next, rewarding performance, punishing underperformance. Punishing underperformance. Incorporating less centralized structure. Less centralized structure like matrix structure. Matrix structure. Next, adopting less formal culture, more informal culture. Informal culture. Promoting stability of tenure and relative autonomy at work. Relative autonomy at work. That is, organizations should focus on, changing paragraph then, organizations should focus on first building and developing human resource, human as resource. Next, helping realize human resource, its potential. Next, organization potential should be strongly linked to individual potential. Next, there should not be only objective of earning profit or output, but also superordinate goal of contributing to society, adhering to values, building good image. Therefore, if organization is able to bring behavioral transformation and create a good work culture in which organization is considered as part of social system, and people also have a sense of enlarged participation. Organizations would be able to sustain, not only promote, but also sustain high motivation morale of people. High motivation and morale of people.
Can you repeat this line?
Organization would not be able to only motivate but also sustain high motivation and morale of people. So that is what we can say. So to some extent we have linked with civil service, because in paper second a question is asked on motivation morale, not in paper 1. So there you can apply it. So you should write from human relation theory, whatever they are talking. So they are helpful, human relation theory to behavioral theories, even motivation theories you talk. So they should be all referred. Like see, they will build good, let's say theory Y, so management system 4, matrix structure, everything we cannot write, but yes, they will help in addressing such problems. Because if there is democratic environment, so that will be not there. Then there will be autonomy also at work. Autonomy at work means you should have relative stability, and there will be less formal culture. This merit will be recognized. So when once merit is recognized, nexus corruption will be less. So merit is recognized, so performance, so you have to establish goals which are more objective rather than subjective. So things are, let's say that interlinked, you can say. And it should not be, let's say that only objective to achieve organization. We have told about integration of individual goals and others. Basically organizations, so any organization, it wants to achieve its potential. So any organization wants to achieve its maximum. So maximum it thinks that it can achieve by, let's say, tools, techniques. So tools, techniques, resources. That is how traditional approach. But then human is the important element in this. So if all humans in that organization realize their potential, so in a way organization will also realize its potential. So that already we have discussed in past several times, how maximum achievement or optimum achievement of organizational potential is linked with human. Unless human wants that, human wants to give his or best, so organization cannot take that best. And in this way, let's if they are having morale, so morale and motivation, so they will be able to achieve their potential. So organization will also be able to achieve their potential. Plus, let's say organization should not be only, let's say, concerned about earning, let's say, profits. It should not be only concerned about earning profits, or let's say that in the case of civil service, public sector, only about the output or task given that should be achieved. Rather, we are trying to link with enlarged participation, the broader aspect. So you know that organizations also try to build their good image in society. They also contribute to society. Why they are doing it? And then people will find more, let's satisfying when they work for society, when they interact, they do secondary type of job, which is not their primary job, that they go in organization and they work in organization. But one day the person gets opportunity to interact with people. The person may enjoy it. So image, values, other things. So organization should also link. That will help in sustaining that morale and motivation, because people will, let's say that, find themselves part and parcel of society. And that is how organization should be taken, that social system, you say that, the social system. So that should also be created to sustain morale and motivation of people. So Can we enhance civil servants' morale and motivation? So it is true, let's say that the study by Nicholas Henry, so he says that because managers generally they get autonomy, they have a relative stability of tenure. Civil servants first day first posting, then you got the order of transfer. First day first posting transfer. हो सकता है कि शनि महाराज का टाइम चल रहा है. Anyhow, the question is that then you can curse your luck etc, isn't it? Already you may have leveled yourself कि आप किस तरह के हैं, आपका लक साथ देता है कि नहीं देता है, isn't it? So this is kind of leveling you will find in our society. All these things are very subjective things. So the question is that when government will create, that's why government is also trying to incorporate so many things like sensitive training has been adopted, integration of individual goals with organizational goal. They are creating also less formal environment, this kind of thing. When Prime Minister sits together with civil servants and he talks with them, it's let's not a formal environment. So then performance etc, this is what we'll find there is incorporation of such factors. This. So that way we finish. Means we can say that there is a strong link between morale and productivity, although it is not necessary that high morale means high productivity. Is it clear? Are you clear? So that you can take the difficult thing. Right.
And can we relate this with that bureaucracy not performs in vacuum? Like that only, na? That bureaucracy doesn't perform in vacuum and it plays in an environment. So many factors are related to performance of bureaucracy.
Yes, many factors are related to performance, but first thing we'll talk is that within organization there is a formal culture. There is more adherence to rules, laws, process, procedure. There is less freedom, less innovation, less scope for innovation, frequent posting transfers. So let's take organizational factor. Then we take the ecological factor, the outside factor. That will be, but the outside factor we cannot address.
Yes, sir.
Government or let's say theory can address inside the factor. Outside factor is very, let's say that they are uncontrolled variables. So, yes.
So, in our civil service examination, we are actually testing each and every part of a human being by inducting into IAS. We are checking him on ethics paper, everything. So still corruption is going on in the bureaucracy. So can it be attributed to this morale part?
No, it's like it's let's say that corruption will have many manifestations. So just by one manifestation, one factor, you cannot eliminate corruption. Like say the way morale is not going to be improved by any one factor. You'll have to bring a set of factors. Right. So similarly, corruption, what are the causes of corruption? So there are several causes of corruption. So in that one cause you are addressing. Right. So one cause is related to those who are appearing in civil service. So their mind, so basically you are trying to address the mind of that civil servant. Let's say civil servant, so what you are trying to do? By just teaching something or knowledge, you are, let's say, addressing one factor, knowledge. The person should get knowledge about different aspects. But let's say that the person has got knowledge, but then there is a factor called P, pressure. Right. So knowledge will become secondary in case of pressure. If you do not address pressure, let's say pressure factor, so knowledge, how much knowledge factor can sustain you to withstand against corruption? And then knowledge can be tempered also. Knowledge, let's say that can be influenced by many other factors also. When you get knowledge that a less meritorious person is qualifying and a meritorious person is not qualifying, so what knowledge will do or ethics will do? Or when you get this that a less meritorious person has been promoted and a meritorious person has not been promoted, तो फिर आप उस ethics का क्या करोगे? What you will do of your that ethics? Then, so there are several factors, let's say, not one factor. So like say when Kiran Bedi is denied promotion, so you feel hurt by this, but why she should be denied promotion? Right. So several things happen in society, and then so it is one factor. Let's say entrance examination is one factor, that yes, it is trying to make you learn this and that. Then in organization you get posted. Then there are other factors. So there are several factors for that. There is no one factor. That's why we have to address all those factors. But organization theory or any theory cannot talk all sundry things. Right. A theory can focus on one aspect, another theory can focus on another aspect, third theory can focus on another aspect. That way, combining all, you can have proper understanding. So that is what, let's say, from Taylor. So from Taylor to last theory that we did, right, transformational theory of leadership. So you'll find that from Taylor to that, so what we are trying to do? We are trying to understand organization. We are trying to understand problems of organization from different perspective, and we are trying to solve that. The Taylor is trying to solve, bring productivity by science. Transformational leadership is trying to bring productivity by quality of a leader. So this way, and by the end of the day, we will say that all are important, and all have enhanced, and all are getting incorporated. Right? Can we say that? So now we'll take the difference. If you understand motivation and morale, if you understand morale, let's say that morale as a topic. Since already we have done a lot on that, so that way it is just a reference. So now we'll take difference between morale and motivation.
Ego building is a positive aspect of morale.
Ego building, that is not what ego you are thinking. Ego building means ki psychological building. Psychological building means ki a good feeling. Okay. Building a good feeling in human. Okay. Imbibing positive attitude, imbibing sense of contentment, imbibing sense of satisfaction, imbibing sense of belongingness. That is called ego building in psychological sense. If you take in ethical sense, it may be different, but because ego is considered negative. But in psychology, ego is related to your social psychological aspect, physiological psychological aspect. Like say when we say ego needs are that, let's related to achievement, related to power, recognition. These are human needs. Right. But ego per se is, let's say that it is superiority. It is about sense of superiority. It is sense of, let's say, who can say that big brotherness, that kind of thing, or big brotherly attitude that we say. So that ego is about rigidity, self-centeredness. So that has negative. So in ethics field we say, Mahatma Gandhi will say, when ego is lost, humanity is born. Right. So that will have a different answer. Right. And here we are talking ego building. It's about, let's say, बहुत सारे लोग हैं ना कि उनके पास, that's why sarcastically I keep saying ना, आपने बहुत सारा नेगेटिव लेवलिंग किया होगा अपने साथ. मैं ऐसा हूँ, वो हूँ, मेरे से ये नहीं होता है, मेरा लक काम नहीं करता है, तो शनि महाराज है, तो ये है, तो बिल्ली ने रास्ता काट दिया, तो ये हो गया. बट ब्ला ब्ला थिंग्स, मतलब आप उसी में घूम रहे हो, उस चक्कर में जो होता है, चक्र जिसको बोलते हैं. बट कम आउट ऑफ दैट ना, देन यू विल एक्सपीरियंस द वर्ल्ड. ट्रूथ. So the question is that is about negative aspect of your social psychological understanding of environment and yourself. Positive self concept, self efficacy theory, building positive self concept. So ego building is related to that, right? जैसे हमारे सोसाइटी ने बहुत सारे कास्ट, रिलीजन, कम्युनिटी को क्या किया है, डिराइड किया है. Deriding is there, leveling is there, this caste is like this religion is like this. तो इससे क्या है ना कि people will have negative ego in psychological sense, right? This. So anyhow, but they are talking about positive, like say कि class में, organization में अगर suppose a person has done mistake once, and then he does second time mistake also, तो थर्ड टाइम में उसका मिस्टेक उसके कास्ट से एसोसिएट कर दिया जाएगा, अगर वो थोड़े छोटे कोई लोअर कास्ट से बिलोंग करते. ये इसी कास्ट के लोग ऐसे ही होते हैं, राइट. सो नेगेटिव, द लेवलिंग, लेट्स से दैट इट इज ए काइंड ऑफ लेवलिंग दैट इज डन, दैट इज रॉन्ग थिंग. वी शुड नॉट डू लेवलिंग, राइट. जिससे आपके घर में भी लेवलिंग है कि आपने किसी दिन कैब बुक कराया, वो कैब लेट आ गया. ठीक है, तो पेरेंट्स बोलेंगे यार कि देखो इससे काम मत करवाना, इजंट इट. ये जब भी कुछ करता है तो कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है. अरे उसका कैब से क्या रिलेशन है, कोइंसिडेंटली इट केम लेट, राइट. इट हैज नथिंग टू डू विथ यू, बट वी लेवल इट. Then some people will develop weak psychological sense in themselves, right? This weak, that is how can say lack of self confidence. So ego building is that ki building positive view about human, this we say. So you should break all these things, come out of all these things, be strong. Anyhow,
How?
yes.
So you expect that we should come out. How that we are
Fight with this. Have courage like that.
बहुत बदतमीज हो गया है सर, सबसे होता है.
So you have to have all such courage. जब कहावत है ना हमारे देश में, हमारे सोसाइटी में कि शाम को अगर पैसा दोगे तो हाथ में पैसा रुकेगा नहीं. भाई पैसा आएगा तो रुकेगा ही. अब हम क्या शुरू करेंगे, पैसा नहीं देंगे किसी को शाम को, तो भाई एटीएम भी बंद कर दो फिर. नो, आरबीआई को एटीएम भी बंद कर देना चाहिए शाम को, इसलिए कि आरबीआई के पास भी तो पैसा नहीं रुकेगा फिर. So these are all, let's say that means what you can say that our society has created lots of things now. We need to break that things, right? Don't believe in all these things. Be strong enough. Anyhow, exam becomes good, becomes bad because of your preparation, because of your state of mind that time, rather than luck and chance. Forget about this. So this is what ego building. Anyhow, let's come to, otherwise we'll not teach. We start teaching astrology, not psychology or public administration. rather.
Sir, motivation is a part of morale.
We'll come to that. So, it is more about psychological process. It is more physical, physiological, psychological process related to attitude, belief, perception. It is related to more about needs and drives. And it is generally a group predisposition. It is considered individual and it takes time. So when it takes time, so this will also be improving, will also take time. Low morale, so it will not become, let's say, overnight. A person will develop low morale over a period of time. So high morale will also come over a period of time. Since all factors, addressing all factors will be complex. That's why it involves a set of multiple factors. So one factor will not be responsible. But motivation, a person can be, although it has also multiple factors, but yes, it is not as complex as morale concept. And that's why, let's say that if you want to address symptoms of low morale, so it will take time. But if you want to address symptoms of low motivation, they can be addressed with relative ease and also less span of time. Then there can be situation like, ideally, let's really high motivation. Right.
So in the lecture, first isn't it the low motivation changes to high motivation?
Yes.
The first one, situations like low motivation and when pay increase it changes to high motivation. Should it be like that?
Low motivation, you are saying.
Yes. When we have low motivation and the pay is increased, we'll be getting higher motivation. Shouldn't the example, so the situation that you have mentioned, shouldn't be like that, or is it correct? That high motivation and pay is increased, high motivation.
Right. Means I just told that ki high motivations, it is product of like this. Suppose pay increased. The pay increase result into high motivation. So there was low motivation. Right. So there was low motivation. Increase in pay result into high motivation. But high motivation does not mean that there is change in morale. Public sector example that we have given. So why morale does not change? Motivation changes.
So no sense of belongingness is there.
So other factors, let's say that other factors are not addressed. Somehow we told such factors. So even if pay is increased, but you will find that the why persons have causes of low morale. So these factors are not addressed. If we take like as X factors, let's bring this. Yes. So those factors, let's say that we do not address this. For instance, let's say that IAS. So see, IAS has not joined that he will get good salary. Or a public employee has not joined because he will get good salary. You need to understand this. Right. It has service motive. So you have joined. So salary was not the main factor. Otherwise you could have joined elsewhere, not civil service. And when you have joined for something else, let's say it can be X, let's say your potential, you want to serve, you think that you have a leadership or administratorship type of quality and you do not get opportunity for that, then you will develop low morale. And then unless that factor is addressed, your morale will not change. Even if your salary is there, you can feel motivated, that you are getting good salary, so there can be celebration in family, that's different thing. But as far as your morale is concerned, how long you will have, suppose the day you feel down, so let's say that momentary type of things, transitory type of things do not motivate you. Isn't it? So it's something, let's say that we told kid that the feeling that you have, the attitude that you have, so that you form, unless you address those things, morale will not improve. Although motivation you can still be motivated person. You can feel motivated, you can feel happy by this, but morale will not. That's why public employees, even if salary increased, but their behavior would remain same, their culture will remain same, they still remain non-cooperative. So it is like hygiene factor, you can say that. This way.
Sir, is it like that everyone's salary has increased, not that only theirs, even those who are not performing?
That can also be a factor, because in government salary increase, it increases for all. But that's not a major factor, whether others are. People are not, they are, let's say they do compare, but they are more concerned that whether they are able to realize what they want. You are more concerned about your potential, you are more concerned about your future, your role, whether you are able to get autonomy at your position to work. So that way the difference you can understand between morale and motivation. Means this is the most appropriate example to understand the difference.
Can we say that intrinsic motivation is similar to high morale?
Can we say that?
Intrinsic motivation is similar to high morale.
Yes, it can be considered that morale is more intrinsic, and motivation is both intrinsic and extrinsic. That's why physical, physiological, psychological process we have it.
Even though we say that morale is like a group behavior, but wherein we are comparing for individuals only.
Yes. By comparing individuals, we are saying that comparing to group, that even if salary is increased, person is motivated, but still he will not work as a team. It will still, he will not behave and cooperate and coordinate and have high belongingness association. This. So that is how we can relate with group behavior, etc.
Can we say that motivation is not lasting more than morale, because morale is on long lasting basis, but motivation once happened, but it is down again after some day.
Yes, that is how it is transitory. Motivation is a transitory thing. Today you are motivated, tomorrow you are not motivated. This. But as far as your attitude is concerned, your view about yourself is concerned, your feelings are concerned, let's say related to something, any object, so that will be not so transitory. You can feel high and low, let's say that, on day-to-day basis. That's why motivation is transitory. But as far as morale is concerned, suppose you like your work. Suppose you like your work. The liking of that work will prolong. You like in a long duration. But then you may feel stagnant. You want to take break. You want to get refreshed. You can get refreshed and again focus on work. The like for work continues. The only that can day-to-day basis your level of, let's say that motivation, or your level of, let's say that somehow what we can say in terms of feeling energeticness level, so that can be low or high. But if you have developed a positive attitude towards something, it will be prolonging. Let's say if you have developed positive attitude towards yourself, it is not going to change.
Yes, sir.
And that will be a very, let's say that key factor in your self-esteem. Although since we are humans, so we can be feeling at times low and high. So motivation is, let's say, can be linked to feeling of that low and high. But morale is something related to your attitude about yourself, about society, in group relation, etc.
So can we say morale is built by the surrounding and the upbringing of ours and our education?
Yes, morale is, that is how a set of multiple factors will influence formation of attitude. Attitude is formed. Since attitude we do not have to teach here, but attitude or morale is formed by set of multiple factors: family, friends, society, external factors, your level of knowledge, so the environment that you live. So all these factors will help you formation of your morale.
So can it be said that we have already, these things have already been talked by Herzberg in motivating factor and a deeper aspect by a process theory of motivation. These all factors which we are talking in increasing the morale.
Yes, that's why morale, motivation, we have told in the very beginning, interchangeably used. They have close relation, but we are trying to understand the distinction. Even if they have close relation, but the theoretical explanation given by those thinkers were related to motivation, not morale. So we have said that indirectly, implicitly, they have explained about morale, not directly. The only theory which mentions direct was Hodden experiment or human relation theory. That style of supervision, morale, the term they have mentioned, morale and productivity. Otherwise, no any theory has gone into talking the term morale. It means that motivational factors so cannot be separated from moral factors. This you should know. So it means that the factors which cause motivation, they can also cause morale formation, good morale. But still morale and motivation can be differentiated, because motivation is also needs and drives oriented. We say satisfaction, ego needs satisfaction, and once you satisfy, Maslow himself says that once a need is satisfied, it no longer it motivates. Or on day-to-day basis, you can see that how we are transitory. We, let's say that face something, we get something, we feel motivated. Good breakfast, good motivation. But by the time lunch comes, isn't it? So the question is that how long you will sustain? Apne tasty breakfast, let's say you have taken, so how long you will sustain motivation? Right. So it is transitory, but we feel happy, isn't it? We feel happy. Someone gives you gift, you feel happy, but how long? By the time you get the next gift. So this, it is momentary. पता चला जिस दिन गिफ्ट मिला, दूसरे दिन कुछ और बोल दिया, गिफ्ट का भी कोई असर नहीं हुआ. This is how it is. So the question is, you can say that, okay, suppose in organization, someone has been given promotion increment and some other person has not been given. Now, if he has good morale, suppose, so his reaction will not be very knee-jerk. He will still continue to work. But if his morale is low, probably he will quit. No, resign, feel irritated, tensed. This way you need to understand. So people having morale, they will sustain the negative things to a longer duration. They can tackle, face, but people lacking it, they may not. So the distinction is made by showing how motivation is transitory, how it is short term, how it has limited factors, how morale, so it is more long term, it is more set of different factors, and it is more about psychological factor, not physical, physiological factor. So is it clear? Are you able to understand?
Sir, can we say that cumulative effect of morale lead to the building of the cumulative effect of motivation lead to the building of morale?
Yes, it can be. It can be said, because this is what we are trying to explain morale through motivation theories.
Yes,
We are explaining morale through motivation theories. So application of accumulation of motivation theories may result into building good morale. That can also be considered.
okay, sir.
Right. So let's write finally finish.
Sir, reading writing is similarities between. Is there?
Yes, that will talk. Let's write. Therefore, there is distinction between morale and motivation. Morale and motivation. However, they cannot be completely separated from each other. They cannot be completely separated from each other. Simply because motivation is also based on cognitive antecedents. That there is also cognitive process explained by process theories of motivation. And the causes of motivational problems also cause low morale. Hence, they are interrelated. They are closely interrelated. In fact, there is no theoretical explanation. There is no yet theoretical explanation of morale, but there are theories of motivation. Which have also become basis for explaining morale. In simple way, morale is explained through motivational theories. And therefore, in that way, even if they have distinction, but they are often used together and also interchangeably. They are often used together and also in general parlance, interchangeably. So that is what we can select. Relevance of morale. Relevance of morale. Motivation indicates generally one or two causative symptoms at a time. One or two causative symptoms at a time. That whether performance should be rewarded, democratic environment should be created, etc. But symptoms of low morale show that there are multiple causative factors working at the same time. For instance, when people join public organizations, they are highly enthusiastic, but it is only over a period of time. That due to several factors, they may start developing low morale. Like a civil servant is transferred once, twice, thrice, and so on. He may not still be demotivated. Means he may not still develop low morale, but when it becomes something like enough is enough, then his attitude may be seriously affected, and he may lose interest in work. Therefore, from public sector perspective, morale gives an understanding that which types of interventions government should bring, to bring change in the attitude of people, rather than merely giving some tangible incentives for motivation. Hence, problems of morale demand more meaningful and comprehensive intervention. And that's why morale has become also a relevant concept in the field of organization theory, administrative behavior, and in public administration for bureaucracy. And we finish morale here.
Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.